Hello everybody, so today we are starting with our first day of Algebra 1 review. Up at the top we have a whole term. What I want to know is what the name of each of the pieces are. So looking at the 4, what do you think the name of the 4 is? Good, it is a coefficient. Now the x, what's another word for x? Well, it's a letter, right? Besides that, it would be considered a variable. And then up at the top, the x has a little 5 up at the top. What is the name of that? It is an exponent. Okay, so using the words that we know, let's just go ahead and write this whole thing. So the whole thing is a term. We can just write term. Okay, let me erase that. Okay, so it is a term. Okay, so looking below, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. My coefficients are the numbers that are in front of the variable. So for the first one, it would just be 5. For the second one, there is no number. What number do we put if there isn't a number? That's right, it's a 1. So we can go ahead and put a 1. You don't have to put anything though, but I say for right now, just practice putting the 1. What about for 7b? Well, it's 7. 7's the only thing that's up in front. Negative 2p to the 5th. What do you think that one is? Negative 2. And then 9f squared. The coefficient is 9. Perfect. The whole term. The whole term is just the whole entire thing. So we're just going to copy down what each of these are. So 5y squared, x to the 4th, 7b, negative 2p to the 5th, 9f squared. Perfect. The exponents, looking back up above, what's my exponent? Oh, it's that little number that's up at the top. So for the first one, it would be 2. For the second one, it will be 4. For the third one, there is no number on the third one. What do you think is going to be my exponent if I do not already have a number? It should be 1. The next one is 5 because it says it up at the top, and up at the top again is 2. Okay, the variables. Variable is what again? It is the letter. So I'm going to put y, x, b, p, f. Okay, so all of these answers go along with these numbers. Okay, now these are exponents that we see most often. What is another word for x to the second? It's just one word. It is squared. So if you see anything x to the second, it is squared. Or if you hear me say x squared, that just means it's to the second power. X to the third power. What is another word for that? It's cubed. So if you hear me say something is cubed, that just means it is to the third power. Now, inverse operations. So what does inverse mean? It means that they undo each other, or they are the opposite of each other. So what if I had a plus sign right here? I'm just going to write off on the side what the symbol is. So it is addition. So what if I have addition? So I'm adding two things together. What would undo addition? Well, I think that it is subtraction. So I'm going to put a minus sign. And on the side, I'm going to write subtraction. What is another symbol that we know? So we have addition, subtraction. We could do multiplication. So if on the side I'm going to write multiply or multiplication. What is the opposite of multiplication, or what undoes multiplying something? Division. Awesome. Okay, so we have add, subtract, multiply, divide. What is another operation? Well, thinking about it, what if I had something that was squared? So I'm going to write over here, it's squared. How do I undo a squared? You just take the square root. You should have learned this in Algebra 1. Or if we want to do this a little bit easier, we can say it's something to a power, so something to a power, and we take the root. So it'd be like n to the something. I just did squared because that was the first one that I could think of and the most common one that we see. But we can see third roots, fourth roots, fifth roots. They all do the same thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next page. Okay, expressions from words. The product of 9 and m is 45. Okay, so the important words that I'm seeing here are product and is. Okay, what do you think product means? Which one of the four things up above? So add, subtract, multiply, divide. Multiply. So this is saying the product, so we're going to write this is multiply. The multiplication of 9 and m is 45. What do you think is it? Like, what symbol does that mean? It's an equal sign. So I'm going to put an equal sign. Okay, so the product of 9 and m is 45. So we have 9 times m. I'm just going to put them next to each other, or I could put a dot there. It doesn't really matter. Equals 45. Perfect. The next one, a number divided by 6 is 18. Okay, so a number, what do you think that I want to put there? A variable, so I'm just going to call this number x. A number divided by 6, so divided by, we already know, that's this symbol, is, what does this mean again? Equal sign, is 18. So x divided by 6, oops, not 16, 6 equals 18. Or we could have written it as x divided by 6 equals 18. You could write it as a fraction. That's the same thing. A number plus 7 is 25. Okay, go ahead and try this one out. Okay, we should have gotten x plus 17 equals 25 because it says is, which is an equal sign, and plus is just plus, and a number is just a variable. You could have done a different letter though, it doesn't matter. The quotient of y and 3 is 25. Okay, so I know is equals. The quotient. What does quotient mean? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Quotient means we are dividing. So y divided by 3 equals 25. Or we could have put y over 3 equals 25. Okay, 1/5 of r is 15. Okay, 1/5 of r. Okay, if you don't see anything else where it doesn't give you something specifically of, okay, this is what the operation is. If it says of, that just means we are multiplying. So I could write it as 1/5 times r equals 15. Or we could have wrote r divided by 5 equals 15. It all just depends on what we're trying to do, or like really whatever you feel the most comfortable trying to do. Okay, the next one, 5 more than n is equal to 9. Okay, 5 more than n. What do you think more than means? More than means add or multiply? More than means add. So we have 5 plus n equals 9. Perfect. The difference. What do you think difference means? Difference means subtract. So the difference of P and 7, so P minus 7 is 30. And we already said is just means equal sign. The sum of 3y and 5 is 47. What do you think sum means? Sum means plus. So the sum of, 3y plus 5 is 47. So is just means equals. Perfect. Very last part, steps to solve an equation. Thinking back to Algebra 1, what was always the very first step for solving an equation? You would check to see if you needed to distribute. So an example would be if I had 5 parentheses 2x plus 3, and then we multiply that over. So that would become 10x plus 15. So distributes the first one. Second step is always combine like terms. Or we can call this CLT. Okay, so combining like terms, if I had 7 plus x plus 4 plus 3x. Okay, my like terms are anything that look the same. So anything with x's, I'm going to put lines underneath to show, hey, these two look the same. Anything that does not have an x, I'm going to put boxes around. Main thing to remember, make sure you put the sign inside of the box or with the underline. Okay. So combine your boxes. 7 plus 4 is 11. So I have 11. Plus, what is 3 plus 1? 4. So 4x. There we go. We combine like terms. The third one is variables on one side. I'm going to go ahead and do the next two with it. So right below, you were either going to add or subtract. And then the last one is multiply or divide. Okay, so if I had a problem that looked like this, 4x equals 2x plus 8. Very first thing, I'm getting my variables on one side. So I have this 2x, right? Is it being added or subtracted, multiplied or divided? It's being added, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So 4x minus 2x is 2x equals 8. Last thing, I want to get that x all by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So x equals 4. So variables on one side, I'm just going to put the things that we did. Variables, one side. We subtracted and we divided. And that gave us our final answer. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson. I'm going to go ahead and post tomorrow's lesson too. Have a good rest of your day.